This week on Close Talkers, Katie sings The Barber of Seville because we watched Season 5, Episode 8, The Barber.
Now.
You know all the words. I sing every episode live. Whenever anybody presses play on their podcast, I have to sit waiting around for them to finish it, and then I sing live, get sent over the internet into their podcast player of choice.
And then at the end I say, is that a Seinfeld reference? Do you think anyone listens to the end of our outro song?
Do you think anybody listens to our podcast at all?
I know 4 people who do.
So how did you like The Barber?
I liked it. I laughed a bunch.
You were a giggle factory over there.
I wrote down the times I laughed, so it wasn't like constant. At least a few times I laughed.
You were giggling constantly.
Constantly.
How many listeners did we have? So The Barber was written by Andy Robin. It was directed by Tom Sharonis. It aired on November 11th, 1993. Vulture.com ranked it as the 60th best episode.
Really?
Screen Crush had it as the 157th.
What?
And they both said exactly the same thing. Like, they're both like, it's really hard to break up with your barber / stylist. George's subplot was funny.
Come on. Okay, we're obviously going to talk about it, but we've talked about how this show is funny when you have a regular situation and these people make it absurd. Mm-hmm. This is a regular situation.
Changing your barber, yeah. Happens to everybody every day.
Every day.
You should be replacing your barber
every 3 months.
At least every 24 hours.
And they make it absurd.
Yeah.
This is exactly the formula
for
a good Seinfeld episode.
I think so. I thought it was better than both 60th and 157th.
I thought you were going to say like 18, 15, something like that.
Andy Robin was the writer of Season 4's The Junior Mint.
Oh.
Which was a
classic.
Yeah, pretty classic episode. He does write a few more episodes throughout the series, continuing on until Season 9. He is one of the co-writers of the Puerto Rican Day Parade.
Uh-oh.
But, like, I wonder if because that was such a maligned episode, like, they just put, like, everybody's name on it, so they could all just be like, "Well, I was there,
it was
but
me.
I didn't do any of that. I have a writing credit, but it wasn't my work. There's 12 of us."
Yeah. So who were the guest stars?
So we had Anthony Ponzini, who played Enzo. He was on Friday the 13th, the final chapter. Hard Bodies and Remington Steele. We had David Siminello, who played Gino. He was on Days of Our Lives, I Love New York, and Matlock. Both David Simonello and Anthony Ponzini were both on a TV show called Generations in 1989.
Matlock.
They get to re-collaborate later in their careers. Michael Fairman played Mr. Penske. He was in Mulholland Drive, Cagney and Lacey.
Can't read your writing.
I can't read my writing. Like 150 episodes of Young and the Restless.
Wait a minute.
He guest starred on The X-Files.
No. Back up. Who was he on Y&R? Because his face didn't look familiar, and my grandparents watched that every day, and I was forced to watch it with them from, like, kindergarten till 6th grade. So who was this guy?
What year did you finish?
93, 94?
Okay, because he started on Young and the Restless in 2008.
Oh. He's so old, I assume that he was on it then. Okay.
The actor Jack Shearer played Mr. Tuttle. He was in Star Trek First Contact, The Usual Suspects, and The Negotiator. And we had, like, Wayne Knight as Newman and a whole bunch of other...
Well, let's throw it back to last week when I asked you if you remembered this episode.
Jerry cheats on his barber with his barber's apprentice.
So how'd you do?
I think I nailed it.
I'll read the Netflix synopsis. George starts a new job he knows nothing about and may never have been offered. Jerry tries to switch barbers. Elaine hosts a bachelorette auction. Nope, she hosts a bachelor auction.
I do like how George has both, like, quit a job and just gone back to it. Also, like, hired for a job and just, like, I'm just going to go see what happens.
I wrote down later, he's so happy in his little office. It's just, he's not, like, bored by, his first day. There's nothing in there except him and a desk and a file. And at 5 o'clock, he, like, puts it in his briefcase and puts his coat over his arm and struts out of there. He's drumming on his desk. He's just having the best time.
We really got to talk about this company's onboarding process. Seems pretty bad.
So in the end, he was hired, right?
Yeah, it seems like it.
Because Tuttle said, I'm surprised you're in the small office.
I should have made it clear you would have gone to the big office.
Yeah. And everyone's like, huh? Who are you? You're hired?
What is he supposed to do?
I don't know. Do this.
Send restroom supplies somewhere.
Penske's like a truck thing, right? Is it like a gas station or a truck?
I think Penske is a truck thing. I don't know if this Penske is a truck thing.
I'm assuming it is. If we're talking rest stops.
Just because...
Mr. Penske.
Is Penske a Canadian truck thing?
I don't think so. All right, here we go.
You can correct it on the next episode.
Hey, Google. Tell me about the company Penske.
Transportation Services Company. According to Team Penske, Roger Penske is the founder and chairman of Penske Corporation, a closely held, diversified, on-highway, transportation services company whose subsidiaries operate in a variety of industry segments.
Oh my god, what a boring... what a boring description. They're a trucking company.
Okie dokie.
So let's go back to the stand-up, the first one. Jerry's talking about the classic barbershop is disappearing.
Think of the past.
It reminded me of Community when Jeff goes to the barbershop with Pierce. And he goes, why have I been shaving my own face like a sucker?
I feel like there's been a real renaissance for barbershops. Like
There's a lot of like hipster barbershops here. Yeah.
They kind of came back.
I keep trying to convince you to go to like the full hot towel shave experience, but you don't want to do that.
It just takes a while. I've done that before.
Yeah, it takes a long time. Like, that's self-care. Take the time for you.
I don't have time for that. I barely have time for you.
Yeah. It's ironic that in this stand-up, Jerry's hair is the fluffiest it's ever been.
I would never say that Jerry has good hair. No. Like, his regular hair is bad. This new haircut is bad. His hair now is, like, nothing to write home about.
Is this haircut bad?
I think it's different enough that you can make the case that it's bad. I don't think it's much worse than the mullet.
'Cause it's kind of a normal haircut. It's a little long. Right? Like, by today's standards, it's a little long all around. But it looks kind of normal.
I remember when I was maybe 8 to 10 and my dad took me to First Choice Haircutters. And I was like young enough that he was still like telling the hair cutter stylist, whatever you want to call her, how to cut my hair. And he was like, oh, medium short on the sides, a little bit longer on top, blah, 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 blah. And she was like, oh, kind of like your hair. And he was like, yeah, sure. Yeah. Kind of like my hair. She's like, yeah, like a little boy's haircut.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh my God. Wow. You know what? It's funny you say that because I thought Jerry's haircut kind of looked like my dad.
Oh yeah, I can see that.
Yeah. So the little boy / dad haircut. I think Jerry looks different, but walking down the street, he looks normal. The other guy in the barber shop whose hair Gino cuts, he looked insane. The one who says, this is the best haircut I've ever had. His hair went to a point, like below his hairline, like the beginning of a rat tail.
In the back?
Yeah.
Oh, that's kind of like a style nowadays, isn't it?
Nowadays, everything is a style. But then?
Yeah, sure. Jerry makes a couple of claims in this opening stand-up. He says there are no laws in haircutting.
That's not true.
Incorrect. Especially in Ontario, you have to be a licensed thing. He says that barbershops are a thing of past because you have a $20,000 chair and a $3 tip. One, I don't think those chairs are $20,000.
Well, they
Two,
might be.
they might be, but
like mechanics in there.
You live in a $3
Hydraulics.
tip on a haircut. Like, what are you doing?
What's a haircut cost in 1993? $10? Do you remember the barbershop, like, around the block from here? When we moved in, it had a big, painted sign on the front that said haircuts $10, and every year they would change it $11, $12. They're gone now.
The one that went out of business? Yeah. Using them as an example for how much haircuts should cost?
But in the 90s, if a haircut cost $10, what would you tip? $3 is a good tip?
If I don't think a chair in the 90s would have cost $20,000 then. Take that.
But you can pump it all the way up through the ceiling and like 50 feet in the air.
That's in cartoons. Well, I want you to have the job. Of course,
Bring, bring.
sodomy is a prerequisite.
Oh my God.
Wow.
Yeah. It's a hot take. Hold on. I want to talk about haircuts again.
Do you want to talk about how every time you get your haircut, you come home upset?
I knew this would come up. I wrote down, why are you wearing a hat?
You wore a hat for how many weeks? Months?
I'd say about 6 months after I got the worst haircut of my life, yeah. I have had some good haircuts in the last 20 years, but I have had more bad haircuts.
Would you say you have had more than, I'm going to set the over-under at 4 good haircuts in the past 20 years?
4 different good haircuts? Because I got a haircut, and then for like a couple of years, I kept going back to that same person, being like, do it again.
Since I have
do it
known,
again.
Since I have known you, have you gotten 4 good haircuts? I don't think you have.
Under. And it's not my fault.
And when I say good haircuts, I'm not saying it's a bad haircut. I'm saying a haircut that you are happy with. Every time you're like, I'm going to get my hair, I'm like, oh God, you're going to come home upset. Have a great time. I love you. Bye-bye.
I think I have a problem with not speaking up during a haircut. I feel like we communicate before the haircut. And then once it started, I'm like, well, there's nothing that can be done now if it looks insane. It's already been cut. When the worst haircut of my life began, and she started at the crown of my head and went down about 3 inches and cut there.
You can't put more back on.
You can't go anywhere from there except shorter. So, yeah, I'm always, I'm turned around at the end to see my hair, and I'm like, oh, it's great. Thanks. I got my hair cut once, and it was styled so poorly that I came home and washed it immediately. And that ruins, like, the best part of a haircut when they, like, you get the blowout.
You get the blowout?
Yeah, you gotta milk that for like 3 days. Wash my hair immediately. And then our friends came to visit. I don't know if you remember this. And me and the woman in the partnership were like, we're gonna cut Katie's hair. We're cutting my hair. We're recutting it. We're fixing this mess. And you guys talked us out of it.
I don't, but thank God.
Could it have been worse than what it was? I don't think so.
You talking about the bad haircut?
No, it's a different bad haircut.
Like you just said, you can't put more back on.
I could demullet it.
So, rest stop supplies.
What are we talking here? Big rolls of scratchy toilet paper? Or is it like the store inside the rest stop?
Oh, I assumed it. I did not think that was the store inside the rest. I was thinking like soap and toilet paper and
that's it.
Hand towels.
Hand towels.
Like paper towels. Maybe the equipment. So like maybe like hand dryers. Maybe he's working for Dyson. They're sending around air blades all over the country.
Yeah. I think he's also doing the stores.
Well, he left, so we'll never find out.
You'll never know. You never like your haircuts these days.
No, I don't. No. So I had somebody that I was going to, and I went to them for like 10 years and like was happy with my haircuts. She got pregnant and
How dare she?
quit. And so then at her barbershop, I just like used a random person. They were awesome. But then they left that barbershop. I followed them like around a little bit, and then they were like, I'm not cutting
They
hair
tried to
anymore.
ditch you. You kept chasing after them.
So I started going to just like a place around the corner, and it's fine. It was cheaper, and it's a serviceable haircut, but it's not a great haircut.
Yeah.
The barber that has been good has now gone back to cutting hair, but she's anti-vax.
Oh,
So that's kind of a hard no.
man. So the good haircuts that I was getting for a little while, she had the audacity to go and become an accountant.
Son of a...
Do you know
Instead of trimming people's hair, she's trimming the bottom line. So we get to our A storyline, Gino versus Enzo.
This is a pretty aggressive Italian caricature.
Have you ever been to an Italian barber? I think it's pretty accurate. Our loyal listener, Tom, I think he exclusively goes to Italian men barbers, unless things have changed.
I was going to bring up Tom later because he's the only person I know who knows anything about opera.
There you go.
So I'm awaiting your corrections, Tom. Like, we're going to need them because I tried to figure out what the Barber Seville is about, and I still don't really know.
Isn't it about like
A rabbit who...
somebody who cuts hair
runs away
in
from
the
a-
city of Seville? Jerry's haircut is... so Jerry's told that he should go get his haircut because he's going to be in Elaine's bachelor auction. When was the last time a bachelor auction happened? An unironic bachelor
I don't know.
auction happened. This is a very like...
It's a very 90s thing.
Yeah.
It's a very 90s, like, movie and TV thing. Did they happen in real life?
I don't... Nobody's ever paid to take me out on a date.
I've never been invited to one. I'm a woman. Like, I don't think this happened. I think this is a TV trope.
Maybe. Maybe it's like an American thing, like how we don't have garbage disposals.
Just that one thing is different.
We don't have garbage disposals. We don't have bachelor auctions.
That's
Otherwise, we're the exact same.
I was going to say debutantes. There's another thing that I don't think we have. And it's kind of like a bachelor auction, but it's for 13-year-old girls. So in the barbershop, Gino's talking about Edward Scissorhands. And Enzo's mad at him. It's like, why do you like this movie? And Gino's like, I would love to have Scissorhands. What are you going to do when you go on a toilet? I laughed out loud when Kramer goes, I'd like to have shoehorn hands. End scene. So I don't do acrylic nails. But every time
I see where this is going.
a woman has super long fake
I
nails,
should whip that out.
how do you wipe? And there's some woman on Instagram who, while she's clacking her nails and talking, she explained how you wipe with nails. You just do it. You figure it out. That's how Edward Scissorhands would wipe, I guess.
I imagine so. Yeah. How does Edward Scissorhands wipe? Very carefully.
I also laughed out loud when Jerry was describing Gino for the first time. So gentle and attentive. He looks like truly enamored.
He's been wooed by this
Yeah.
superior man.
It's good acting.
Jerry Seinfeld doesn't get enough credit for acting.
I think he gets enough.
Gets just the right amount. Has a barber or hairdresser ever complimented your hair?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I get it a lot, actually.
Really? Wow. The color or the volume, the length,
Everything. I was asked to be in a hair show.
really?
I was not allowed.
Where you'd be auctioned off for charity?
I think I was 15 or something, and whoever was cutting my hair asked if I would be in a hair show. And my mom was still taking me to get my hair cut then. So I was like, oh, I don't know. Can I do this? And my mom's like, what is it all about? Like, explain. And he goes, well, you would go to this event and I'd cut your hair and then you'd like like walk the runway and present the haircut. There's like a hair show. I'm like, oh, okay. And he goes, you might have to be topless. And I was like, nope. I'm like, why? Why do you have to be topless?
Hiding hair underneath your shirt?
Good thing my mom was with me that day.
I think this guy just wanted to see your How long did you continue to get your hair cut?
I think that was the last one. So when Newman goes to Jerry's bathroom to try and get hair for Enzo, it reminded me of playing Jerry's Place VR.
Oh, yeah.
Because you can walk around. So with VR goggles on, I downloaded Jerry's Place. So you can like go to the apartment and like pick up stuff and there's references and it looks like the apartment. You can go into his bathroom and pick things up and you can actually toss them out the window.
Oh, yeah, I remember that. I think Newman bamboozles Enzo. I feel like he would be willing to do this for like way less than 6 months.
For one comb.
Like, yeah.
Yeah. He would do it for nothing.
Probably.
Screw over Jerry, I'm in.
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah. Jerry has 2 big boxes of baking soda in his fridge.
Well, you gotta get the smell out somehow. Did we ever find out what Elaine was raising money for?
No.
Do you think the $1,000 and $5 was enough to do whatever they were doing? Do you think they got more than $5 for Kramer?
Yeah, because somehow he pulls a lot of dates.
He does, yeah.
Elaine introducing him didn't do any favors.
He's a Kavorka.
What is that?
We'll find out.
He likes fruit?
This really proves how little Elaine knows about Kramer. She's 6'3", 190 pounds. You just got a haircut, and
Yep.
he likes fruit.
So at the end, with Jerry's attacking Newman with the clippers, I wrote, is Newman going to be bald next time we see him? And then I got to put a big check mark.
He was.
He was.
So following along with George's storyline, Mr. Penske comes to visit. He's very impressed by all the work that George has done by putting the file into an accordion-style folder. He says, would you ever consider coming to work with us at Penske? But you do know, and then they're interrupted. The car is being towed.
Wouldn't you know, their whole board is being investigated.
Has been indicted.
Indicted, sorry. And he's playing with a little noose.
Yikes.
Yikers. And then George's car is getting towed. And then you get the ta-da moment at the end.
Everything gets wrapped up in a nice little package.
It does. I like this episode. There, I said it.
Well, bear in mind, I am in the smaller office.
A ta-ta, ta-ta.
There was one weird thing. When Jerry enters the barber shop to to assault Newman, he picks up a pair of clippers from
the other side
of the room. What are they plugged into? How long is the cord? Why are they plugged in over there?
So another Community parallel, when Abed is trying to cut off Jeff's
his
arm.
bone saw, and it keeps getting unplugged from the
Yeah.
And they ask him to come closer.
Yeah.
How did Jerry convince Newman to come closer?
Come closer so he could shave his head.
Yeah, I don't think he'd be in favor of that.
So I tried to look up the plot of The Barber of Seville because I, of course, only know the Bugs Bunny version. And on Wikipedia, the synopsis of the plot is probably as long as the libretto of the opera. It's so long. I couldn't read it. And then I Googled Barber of Seville, Cole's notes. And it gave me 2 long paragraphs. And I was still like, no. Give me the Cole's notes. Basically, a barber helps a count get a woman away from her guardian.
Okie dokie.
That's it.
I was going to try and see if ChatGPT could tell me in one sentence what happens in the Barber of Seville.
So, I'm guessing there's a lot of hiding of lovers in this opera. With all the, go out on the balcony, hide in the closet, da-da-da. But, I think, her guardian is in love. I don't know. Tom, help me out here.
So, I prompted ChatGPT. In one sentence, can you tell me what happens in the Barber of Seville?
Yep.
ChatGPT. The Barber of Seville is an opera by Giacchino Rossini that tells the story of a clever barber, Figaro, who helps a nobleman, Count Almaviva, win the heart of his beloved Rosina while outwitting her guardian, Dr. Bartolo.
That's basically what I said.
Yeah. This is also kind of the plot of every Mario game, where Toad helps Mario win the heart of Princess Peach by outwitting her guardian, Bowser. I think we know where.
So another thing I read is this Count, he uses another name to disguise his identity. Luigi.
Whoa. I think we figured out where Miyamoto got the idea for Mario. Jumpman my eye. He's been watching Barber of Seville. Do you have some corrections?
I do. So I have to go all the way back to the Briss.
We haven't done a podcast in a while, so we had a couple of episodes in a can. So
Yeah.
it's
Corrections are piling up, but loyal listener Katie helped us understand the naming thing about the Briss.
Yep.
So we weren't sure why they named him in the hospital, and then at the Briss you're supposed to get. Anyway, you get a Hebrew name at the Briss. So you get your regular name when you're born, you get your Hebrew name at the Briss. And there's a naming ceremony for girls that it doesn't involve brissing. And that's usually in the home. So it's like a little sip and see, a little party. Yeah, so there you go.
like a bris is like a sip and see with a little bit of surgery.
A little snip and see. Last time we talked about Larry Fitzmaurice, the guy who writes the Vulture list. He also writes BuzzFeed articles. Like, his content is not...
Good.
No.
Listicles? He writes listicles.
He writes listicles. He's a freelancer. Stuff is a little bit hard to read. I think ChatGPT would do a better job.
Should we have ChatGPT rank...
Okay, you do that while I do my other corrections. So last episode, you were trying to remember the name of a movie that I had been in, and things that you guessed that were not correct were Call the Boys and Close the Door and Bring It to the House. And we joked that those are probably real movies, and they are! Except Bring It to the House. Call the Boys is a real movie, Close the Door is a real movie. So there you go.
And you were in them?
So you can get Yogenfru's delivery, but only in Toronto, Calgary, and some places in BC. And they have bubble tea now, if you were in those markets and want yogurt delivered. Because I assume it won't be frozen when it gets to your house.
You can get ice cream delivered. I don't know how well that would work, though.
And I wondered if Kramer's Giddy Up was the first one, and it wasn't. He said Giddy Up Up in the parking spot way back when. So there's been a few. Did the robot rank Seinfeld?
So I wanted to make sure that it would work. So I asked it to rank the top 50 Seinfeld episodes. And it did. And then I asked it to rank all of the episodes, and it wouldn't.
An impossible task.
So what do you want? Top...
Give me, I don't know, give me top 10.
Coming in at number 1, The Contest. Number 2, The Marine Biologist. Number 3, The Soup Nazi. Number 4, The Chinese Restaurant. Number 5, The Parking Garage. Number 6, The Junior Mint. Number 7, The Bubble Boy. Number 8, The Opposite. Number 9, The Yada Yada. Number 10, The Puffy Shirt.
So it's just aggregating every list on the internet, right?
No, it's aggregating every list that it was trained to, like...
Okay. Well, I mean, where does it rank The Barber?
Not in the top 50. It ranked The Puerto Rican Day as the 32nd best episode.
Uh-oh. Is ChatGPT racist?
So ChatGPT keeps getting updated because people keep abusing its... it has a... I can't remember what they call it, but it's like a content moderation layer to stop it from being full of like hate speech and racist. And there's a set of prompts called Dan, which is an anagram for... I can't remember what. That lets you bypass that...
So you get the unfiltered racism of the internet back in your face? Cool. I'm gonna confess something. I used it to write a review of our kitchen designer because I didn't feel like doing it. And the polite thing is to, review a service that you use. And we liked her. I just didn't feel like writing it. And this thing wrote a beautiful review. It's up on Google. It's great. I never have to think about stuff like that again.
Microsoft years ago released a chatbot, similar.
Clippy?
Not Clippy. I think its name was like Tan or something like that. And it would like learn from the conversations it had, launched to kind of like similar, not quite as like much fanfare as ChatGPT, but, a lot of, and within like 3 days they had to take it down because it had just gone full blown Nazi.
Oh no. Well, folks, there's a lesson there somewhere.
So what's on tap for next week?
The next episode is The Masseuse. What's it about?
Do you know who guest stars in this one?
No. I don't know anything.
Do you want me to spoil it?
Yeah.
So this is an episode where Jerry's girlfriend is a masseuse, but she refuses to give Jerry a massage. Uh-huh. And do you know who the actress that plays that masseuse?
No, I've already said I don't.
Jennifer Coolidge.
Yay! Wow.
I really wrenched my neck. I tried brushing my teeth by holding my toothbrush still and spinning my neck back and forth. And she doesn't give him a massage because he did that.
Makes me want a hot dog real bad.
We're going to do a lot of Jennifer Coolidge.
So many.
We're going to save it for next week then.
Okay, bye.
Bye-bye. Believe it or not, this is our podcast. Please subscribe at the end. If you subscribed, we would be happy. Please subscribe to us. Believe it or not, it's our podcast.
Is that a Seinfeld reference?